and we are live worldwide. It's Bennie Foster with the Straight Report, a weekly worldwide uncensored commentary on vital topics and epic truths that have been manipulated, diluted, and systematically restricted from mainstream media until right freaking now. You tapped in, you tuned in to the Straight Report, No Chaser with Bennie Foster, coming live out of Jackson, Mississippi in an undisclosed location. And it's very important that you go ahead and follow, I say tap into CW-TV on YouTube and Cwu-Tv Network on Facebook. We'll be coming to you live every Tuesday at 6:30 p.m. CST and 7:30 p.m. EST. Why the Straight Report? Man, y'all starting off to a roll tonight asking such good questions. The Straight Report is designed to bring you some truths that have been hidden from you, that have been manipulated, that have been hidden behind so many different chaotic situations, so many different manipulated situations that are designed to keep you in the dark. And tonight, I say, let there be light. I got to tell you guys a story about how I wound back up in Jackson. That's right, wound back up in Jackson. You know how when you lost and you run around, you can't find it, and they say, I wound up on the other side of the lake. I had no idea. You couldn't have told me a year and a month ago that I would be in Jackson, Mississippi, let alone doing this Straight Report. But I felt compelled. I felt compelled to come back and offer resources and alternatives in the arena of youth mentorship. That's what I've done for some 30-something years since I received my degree from Jackson State University. I'm a native of Jackson. I went to Callaway High. I also went to Powell Middle School, Powell Junior High. I literally moved here from Madison my middle school year, and I was befriended by my friends, my neighbors over in the Bel Air community over off Northside Drive. Sunset, the Strip, you know where it was. You know where they used to get down over there off the Strip, Moonbeam. And I literally grew up as an athlete. I grew up and I escaped some of the things that young men are dealing with today. I literally had the opportunity to go to practice every day. I literally had the opportunity to become a band of brothers or have a band of brothers that looked out for me. I reconnected with some of those brothers since I've been back. Jimmy Smith, Lamont Dismuke. Man, I'm shouting out some names that some of you guys probably know in the Jackson arena. Vondre Denson, Martin Perkins. Oh man, my man Jeff Sutton. I'm giving shout out because these men have greatly held up my arms as I've worshiped and praised God for all that he's doing since I've been back. Now, when I came back, I'm going to tell you guys this story. When I came back, I literally came back with a bunch of excitement. I say a whole bunch of gas. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. I was very excited about coming to Jackson and offering some solutions because I got 33 plus years of experience with youth mentorship, intervention, prevention, boot camps. And I'm going to tell you, when people are scratching their head, when people are trying to figure out what to do with our young people, I'm going to tell you one of the key components is mentorship. Another component, apprenticeship. Another component, internships. And the biggest components of all are relationships and partnerships with people such as yourself. So when I came back to Jackson, I was gung-ho. I mean, I was trigger happy, ready to go forward and move and put some things in action. Now, when I got here, let me go ahead and say that some people had some things already going, but yet they lack the resources and they lack the support and they lack the structure that they need to be able to keep going in the way that they're going. Ironically, even since I've been back and even some of my counterparts who I've partnered with, over there, New Horizons Church, Ronnie Crudup Jr. and Brother Charles that do the midnight basketball. And I'm saying some names that some of you may not be familiar with, but I'm showing a term of endearment to those people. My executive producer here, who him and I have been hammering out this show for the last maybe 4 weeks, and we decided to go ahead and go live tonight instead of starting on the 21st because so much is happening. When I say some of the women that have helped me, of course, I gotta first of all say my lovely wife, Lisa Foster, I shout her out, and my beautiful mother, Minnie Jones, and my beautiful sisters, Beverly, Wanda, Tracy Foster, and Charlene Foster, my brothers, Brian and Benji Foster, my dad, Bennie Foster Sr., my lovely bonus mom, Barbara Foster. I love all you guys, my cousins. I thank all you guys for all the support. Stephanie Esco over at the Charity Life Event Center, her and brother Amos Ellis, who has been a staple in the support that I've had. Why am I calling out all these names? Because I can call out the names that have assisted me. You know why? Because I can times that times 10 with people who did not assist with the mission. Well, you may say, well, you know, are you complaining? No, I'm not complaining. I'm telling you that all day long, we're saying that we need help. All day long, we're saying we don't know what to do with our children. Well, in this show, we're going to uncover some things, and we're going to show you the reason why it's so hard and why our young people are going to hell in a handbasket right now. There is a system called the pipeline to prison, and our children are chugging right along down that pipeline. And there's some things that we can do to stop it. So when I first got here, I was so excited. I had people that told me I need to call this person, I need to call that person. I called the leaders of this city. Now, if I call names, you're going to get thrown off. So I called dang near every leader in this city that you could think of that I should call to connect with. Some of them sidestepped me. Some of them lied. Some of them set up meeting after meeting. Some of them had no intentions on meeting with me. Some of them actually told me they didn't need my help. I'm talking about I spoke with leaders in the political realm. I'm telling you, I spoke with leaders on the as far as in the mayor's office. I spoke with leaders that are judges. I spoke with leaders in the community. I spoke with businessmen. I spoke with councilmen. And there are a few that stood up and said, you know what, I'm going to assist you. But you know what I've learned? I've learned that a lot of these things are people that are in competition with one another, and they're secretly trying to pay each other back for times that they didn't literally vote on the same topic or somebody said something to them. I literally had a citizen just the other night who just opened up a nice establishment, and I knew that some people were literally trying to close that establishment down. And I said, well, why would they want to keep this guy from doing what he wants to do? And I find out later on that there was a beef, that there was a quarrel that happened some years ago. And so now they were trying to block him with business. Now, some of you may sound like, no, that's kind of petty. Well, you know what? A whole lot of petty adds up to a whole lot of unpaid roads. A whole lot of petty adds up to a whole lot of broken, damaged pipes, water pipes, and things that are not operating correctly in this city. A whole lot of petty adds up to all of these dilapidated buildings, all of these houses that need to be, listen, just had a conversation with a 19-year-old at Jackson State University. He plays football, he runs track, he's in real estate. And he told me he's having the hardest time in Jackson, him and his mom, with real estate. You would not believe some of the challenges that are put in front of people trying to bring change to this city. So the question that I want to ask you before we go to our first break is, does Jackson really understand that there is a systematic system set in place where people are literally intentionally allowing this city to go down the drain? Now, some of you may say, you can't prove that, you can't prove that. I'm going to do more than prove it. I'm going to let you see it for yourself. So before we close tonight, I'm going to look at something called the love letter. It's something that we're going to do every segment. Sometimes it may be a poem. Sometimes it may be an assignment. I'm going to give you assignment because the letter is addressed to you. It says, Dear You. And at the top, it has love letter. In a minute, before we get out of here tonight, the producer is going to put that on the screen, and we're going to give you an assignment to check out certain catchphrases and certain terms and certain organizations. And I want you to research for yourself before we come back live again next week, because I want you to be in the mind frame to understand that there is a systematic, hear me, a systematic system set in place that is designed to keep us angry, to keep us frustrated, to keep us separated, and to keep us from prospering, not just in the city of Jackson, Mississippi, but in most urban areas. It's tied into the political system. It's tied into the HBCUs. It's tied into the black businesses. It's tied into even some of the white businesses. There are some systematic things that are in place, and that's why you're here tonight to hear some of these things and judge for yourself. You're judging anyway. I've been watching some of the comments on Facebook. We'll get to that a little later, how some people don't have a stool to stand on or even a piece of land and a piece of a boat to walk out in the water on, because it's like you literally are operating out of your feelings. But what we want to do is give you knowledge tonight. We want to give you information that you can now eat for yourself, go chew on it later, chew on the meat and spit out the bones, as they say. And then you can come back and join us next week, because next week we going in the straight report, no chaser. What I want you to do now is make sure that you're leaving comments. Make sure you're asking questions in the comments. You can watch us on CWU-TV on YouTube and also CWU-TV network on Facebook. We're getting ready to go to a break right now. And what I want you guys to understand is that you're tapped in, you're tuned in with Bennie Foster, the Straight Report. This is a weekly worldwide uncensored commentary, and it's on very vital topics that we need to move forward. I want you to get ready now. Put on your seatbelt. We about to take a ride. And we're back. I thank you guys, man, for tapping and tuning in tonight, no matter where you are. I know that we have people watching in Florida. My lovely wife, Lisa, I love you. I thank you for all that you have actually spoken to my life over the last year and a half. I know it's been tough. You got to understand that I was living in Miami, Florida, chilling on the beach each and every day, going out on the beach, got my feet in the water, eating what I want to eat, drinking what I want to drink, and I got tapped on the shoulder by the higher power that we call God. And even in that, we're going to talk about vain religion. We're going to talk about vain tradition. We have a whole list of things that we're going to talk about. Matter of fact, I'm going to go ahead and ask the producer to go ahead and pull that love letter up. I want you to understand that I'm coming in love. I'm not raising my voice. I'm not yelling. I'm not screaming. I'm not trying to convince you or nothing. I'm not trying to persuade you or nothing. With this love letter, and I'm going to go to it on my laptop here, this love letter is something that over the last few days, after our producer told us that he wanted to go live tonight instead of on the 21st, I began to go ahead and pull all my notes together. It says, "Dear you, please Google Academy and YouTube University the original intent or purpose of the following terms or catchphrases." That's right. I said YouTube University or Google Academy. That's where we all go when we want to fix something in the house. That's where we all go when we want to learn how to do something. Lisa and I was getting a battery replaced for her vehicle, for her Mercedes-Benz in Florida, and the guy was so afraid inside of Home Depot to take it off that we simply went to YouTube University and we figured it out. Matter of fact, you're watching me on YouTube University. But I want you to go to Google Academy, and I want you to research these things. The first thing is, and I want you to really hear this, the first one is the pipeline to prison. There is a systematic system put in place, and you know what I'm saying, systematic system, because all systems don't work as intended. But this is a strategic, systematic system that has been put in place in order for our young African-American men, our brown Latino brothers, for underserved, poverty-stricken young men to be funneled into the prison system. It starts with them in school, not being challenged. It starts with them sitting in a classroom, bored. And because they do not fall into that system that is designed to create worker bees, that is designed to create people that are going to go out and do a 9-to-5, or they're going to go and work for a company, because we need employees with these larger companies. And you know, these larger companies, it's not like an entrepreneur. They get all kind of tax breaks. They get all of these different things that we're going to talk about a little later. We just skimming through everything right now in this segment. But understand that when that kid acts up in that classroom, which meaning they buck that system because they're bored and they're not challenged, and then they begin to tell them, you didn't do good. They begin to mark up their papers with red markers and tell them this is not good, that is not good. They begin to tell them when they take these standardized tests that, hey, you didn't do well on this. You are the 15th percentile below the 85% average in the nation. And a kid is sitting in this classroom saying, dang, if I can't get this right, what makes me think I'm gonna be able to get married and have kids one day? The American dream. And so this kid is actually operating out of fear, sometimes even low self-esteem. Sometimes these kids are operating out of, I don't know what to do because they're stressed. I've seen 6-year-olds, hear me? I've seen 6-year-olds having meltdowns because of this standardized test. That is really just some type of strategic partnership that is designed to get some company paid because this company did some type of something for the public schools. And so the public schools are pushing this agenda to keep these records, so-called, or these this data-driven information to where I'm going to ask you guys an honest question. I hope you're sitting down wherever you are. Maybe you're sitting down in your car. Maybe you're sitting down in your living room. I don't know if you're watching me on your phone or if you're watching us on a smart TV. But how many of you remember the ITBS test? And please, let's get active in the comments. How many of you remember the standardized testing that we took? The standardized testing that our young people, our sons and daughters, are taking right now. How many of you familiar? How many of you remember that? I'm going to ask you a question, and if you can remember one, please put in the comments one of the questions that was on your standardized test that you feel like you needed in this thing called life. They push this test. The whole education system is designed around this test. The whole academic calendar is centered around this test. They have pep rallies for the kids to do well on this test. Yeah. And at certain age levels, like 3rd and 5th grade, that they're looking at those scores. And you may have heard some of this, and that they can determine at those scores whether those kids are going to drop out by middle school. Yeah, you're talking to an educator. I have a master's in education, but I've decided to be on the other side to help some of those geniuses. You heard me, to help some of those geniuses that come out of that system because they're telling them that they're dumb, they're telling them that they're stupid, they're telling them that they're not gonna make it in life. And these kids have never put a paintbrush in their hand where they can be a multi-million-dollar painting company. These kids have never learned how to read a tape measure where they can be a construction or a general contractor. These kids have never had the opportunity to learn how to get behind a camera where they can become a photographer. These young kids have never had the opportunity to have an opportunity to try something different than what we're forcing down their throats, because school actually is just a form of babysitting. The original school system was designed that around the middle school age of 14, 15 years old, that a young person would begin to identify with what they were going to be. They can go to an internship and an apprenticeship as early as 16 years old, and they can begin to learn their trade. And what we did was we began to make kids think that you're dumb or you're stupid if you don't go to college. Well, I'm going to tell you, that's a setup as well. When that kid acts up in that school, and then they end up going to what they call in-school suspension, and I'm going to do the air quotes again, in-school suspension is simply solitary confinement. And then if they don't do that and they continue to skip school or buck and rebel, get suspended, because again, they're stressing, because again, they're fearful of what's next for them, you got to understand what happens. What happens is that kid acts out, and then they put them in an alternative school. And if the alternative school don't work, you know what's next, the Department of Juvenile Justice, where that young man, that young woman now have an unofficial, official record of them saying that they have disruptive behavior, that they have anger problems, that they are not, quote unquote, a productive citizen. Now, each one of those entities, the school system, the school get paid for every kid that's in that school every day. Do you know that schools will fight? You hear me? They will fight to keep a kid in school because it's considered a ding against them when your kid is not there. That's why if your kid misses a couple of days at school, they're calling you, they're worrying you, they're trying to find out where your kid is, because their kid results in a paycheck. See, I'm telling it all on the straight report, no chaser. I'm not supposed to talk like this, but I'm not in fear of my job because I work for a higher power. And I'm here tonight to let you know that there are some things that are set in place since we were in school that need to be dismantled. We need to dismantle this pipeline to prison, and we need to do it now. Our young geniuses are going to jail to where they're further damaged by this institutionalized system that is designed to break them down. Now, when they go to alternative school, someone gets paid. When they go to Department of Juvenile Justice, somebody gets paid. And then at 18 years old, at 12 o'clock at night, if you in that Department of Juvenile Justice, they will come get you and escort you to what they call the big boy prison. And we all know that that is just institutionalized slavery. See, we're no longer picking the cotton. We became the cotton. And if you miss that, maybe you're not ready for the straight report. I am so elated that our executive producer has this beautiful studio and we're able to come to you in a professional way and break some things down. So that's part of your assignment. I want you to Google Academy, YouTube University, the pipeline to prison. The second thing I want to share with you before we go to break is the public school system as we segue into that. Research what the public school system was originally intended for. It was originally intended to build our intelligence and our morals. It was originally intended for public school systems to be able to build character in our kids. And again, I told you, age of 14, 15, 8th, 9th grade, you could go ahead and go into a trade. But now they stretched it out to high school, and now they stretched it out to college. Oh my God, can I say the biggest scam ever is college? Yes. They give you all of these loans that you can't possibly pay back with the type of money that you're going to make off of that 4-year, 5-year, sometimes 6-year degree that you get. Oh, I know I'm talking to somebody. Go ahead and put in the comments. How hard is it to look at how much money you owe for paying for education that you practically will never be able to pay back unless you break out of that system and begin to be an entrepreneur, begin to tap into your genius, begin to tap into the right energy, the right frequency, the right vibration, and be a creator like our executive producer in this beautiful studio here. I'm pretty sure he struck out at one point. We haven't had this conversation, but I'm pretty sure at one point he realized he wasn't built like everybody else. He don't think like everybody else. There's a certain focus that a creative has in that organized school system, that pipeline to prison. The public school system stifles that. That's why so many people are homeschooling their children. Any of these things that you would like some additional information on, if you would like to know how to homeschool your child, if you would like to know what alternatives are out there, please don't hesitate in contacting us today. Again, you're tapped in, tuned in to CWU-TV on YouTube and CWU-TV Network on Facebook. And as we prepare to go to this break, I want to leave you with this aha moment. Have you not seen a young person or someone you went to school with, and they may have been bucking that system, and now they're doing their own thing? It may be lawn care, it may be construction, but they are making that money that we wish we could make with that degree they say we needed. You say we have some comments? We're live. I was told that I have some comments on Facebook. Greetings. Yes, Martin, slavery. Yeah, let's get some feedback. Let's get some feedback about what we talked about. This is a very interactive process. Who do you have? You say we have someone on YouTube that had a comment? Miss Velocity Stick say, I like what I'm hearing thus far. Great. Brother Martin and Sister Tracy. I hate to sound like I'm a hippie with the brother and the sister, but you are my brother, you are my sister. And so this segment, what I want to talk about is these programs that I was offering, these innovative resources and alternatives that I was trying to offer to the city of Jackson since I've been back for now almost 13 and a half months. almost going into the 14th month in February. Right around this time is where I organized myself and I created the nonprofit of Open House Vision. If you want the link to Open House Vision, please reach out to the Straight Report. We'll send you that information, okay? I want you to know that Open House Vision is available on Facebook, Instagram, and you also can follow the Open House Vision TV page on Facebook, where we have a lot of positive content for our young people, okay? We have Primary with Lil B that's coming to the Cwu-Tv network as well, which is a program that will actually work with young kids and build their self-esteem and teach them the basics, the numbers, the letters, and colors. Why do I love teaching, even though I feel like that system is somewhat twisted and somewhat screwed up? I wanted to see if we had, somebody said, hey, Bennie Foster, I saw that. I wanted to see if we had any other comments. Okay, that's Martin Perkins saying, hey, Bennie Foster. Hey, Martin, that's my homeboy, that's my classmate. I appreciate him and all the love and support he had. But I teach because I love turning the light on. I love getting the light to turn on. I love sharing information in a way that people can understand it. And so for years now, I wanted to have a professional platform where I could come to you and teach you some things about this system that is set in place to keep the poor poor and the rich rich. Understand, people, we are not a crayon color. We are not a crayon color, okay? Okay, I see some comments here. Apprenticeship programs are effective as it provides the on-the-job training absolutely needed for growth in the individuals. Tracy, you are so right. And that's why even with Visionaires, the for-profit company that I formed about a month after I formed the nonprofit, I was here. I've been here, you know, living from pillar to post, sometimes a short-term rental, sometimes an Airbnb, sometimes at my mom's house, you know, and I have been going back and forth to Florida trying to offer programs. And you know, one of the most hurtful things, I'm going to be very transparent, is that I see people out in public and they say, I see what you're doing, keep up the good work, and they run. They run. You hear me? They literally run. Like they don't want to talk to me, but they're watching. And so even to the tune of my social media, showing me how many people are watching versus how many people that have stepped up to the plate. Now, one of the things that I created with Open House Vision is that you can either be an ambassador, you can either be a supporter, a sponsor, or a volunteer. Again, you can be an ambassador, which is a person that tells anyone and everyone that they know about Open House Vision, innovative resources and alternatives, which is designed to reach young people through mentorship. I have several people that have came alongside of me, but I'm gonna tell you something, Jackson, Mississippi. One of the most disheartening things is that I have more people supporting Open House Vision in Jackson than the people of Jackson, who are supposedly living in fear and disarray, trying to figure out what to do with these young people. There are more young people locked up in our juvenile system here for murder. Some of them have 1, 2 bodies on them in this system. And there's nothing set in place as far as recidivism. There's nothing set in place as far as reentry goes. And if these words are foreign to you, definitely reach out. Like I say, it's worth a courageous conversation. But as I created that program, as I created that nonprofit, I met some wonderful people along the way. And those people have been very supportive. And I know I called a lot of names early. I hope I didn't miss any names, like Cedric Lewis out of Chicago. These people have been helping us. My partner, Dwayne Troop, who came alongside me when we started the Visionaires Court, where we do trade and life skills. We do the 5-hour Salute Boot Camp Challenge with my man, Coach T in Atlanta, Reginald Crosley, all of those people partnering with me, Daryl Starks, all of these people that are partnering, making sure that we can literally get in front of these young men and make sure that they have a viable life skill, that they have some type of gift and talent that we can shape and mold into them having a creative stroke of genius to where they can create a company and live off of what comes out of them as a gift. Brother Martin, you say freedom is the new threat to society. Brother, you are so correct. Freedom is the new threat to society. That's interesting. So, you know what that leads us into? When we were talking about our love letter, I'm going to go back to our love letter, and I'm going to mention tonight that I know many people are saddened from some of the things, the current events that have been happening. You know, we can stretch back about 5 or 6 weeks about Coach Deion Sanders and him departing from Jackson State. We would definitely touch on that, but we also can talk about the disappointment of some with Brother Ed Reed, but I can sympathize with Brother Ed Reed because when you come to an organization that is taking pride and showing you all of the good things, you don't expect to come in the house and look at all the dirty dishes when you first get there. And so it's a surprise to some people how this works. And so even though there was an outburst online, some people don't even understand that was him responding to someone on social media. It wasn't him jumping on social media and shaming the organization. But yet we all have our perspective and we all have our opinion. And I'm telling you, I'd rather have a perspective versus an opinion any day, because a perspective comes with experience and advice and wisdom and understanding. And so we lately now have this tragic situation of Brother Tyree Nichols in Memphis, Tennessee. And I have not watched that video, but I'm going to watch that video here live tonight. I've heard so many comments. I've talked to so many people. I stopped reading the comments. It was all over social media. And now we're hearing that this may have something to do with an ex-wife or an ex-girlfriend with one of the police officers. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, we have to do better. And it starts through programs like the Straight Report, where we're breaking it down. I know that I somewhat just candidly spoke some things earlier, but if you go back and look at this video, I said some things that should make you scratch your head, make you squint your eye, and make you go to Google Academy and YouTube University and figure out how you can dismantle these systems that are set in place. So as I go back to that love letter now, Big Pharma. Big Pharma is one of the other topics that we're going to tackle. If you don't know what Big Pharma is, it is the pharmaceutical companies that are set in place to manipulate, to actually overcharge, to actually create illness and sickness that they may profit. Yeah, man. I may need security after this show. I may need security, Brother C. I may need security after this show. My executive producer has told me I can take off the gloves, that there's no subject that we can't touch. And I'm following his guidance and direction. Yes, Big Pharma, Pharma, which is a short for pharmaceutical, is companies that are set in place like rest in power, my beautiful bonus dad, Charles Jones. We miss him so dearly. We lost him a couple of years ago to cancer. They diagnosed 4 months. He stayed with us for 4 more years. As he rapidly began to decline, my mom began to share with my sisters and I some of the things that they had to do to pay for his medicine. Like some of his medicine was literally $13,000. They pay a certain amount, and the insurance company pays the rest. It's just a swap meet, ladies and gentlemen. It's just a swap meet. We're going to create the disease, and we're going to overcharge these people, and we're going to let you come in and pay. Calvin, Ben, Lester, James, Bubba Johnson, Monique, okay, you add security, call security, Martin. Thank you for adding those people. So when you think about Big Pharma now, when you think about why it's such a lucrative business in the pharmaceutical arena, as well as the hospitals, as well as the doctors and all of those people that are involved, you got to understand, yes, they took an oath, but where did that oath get Tyree Nichols? Where did that oath that those 5 police officers get Tyree Nichols? They took an oath to patrol the city, to keep us safe and secure. They took an oath to actually protect us. And this young man, from what I'm hearing, was pulled over unexpectedly, taken from his car, all type of obscenities, and I'm gonna apologize ahead of time because we're gonna play the video. I heard that there's all kind of curse words and all kind of threats that are said. And I know that at one point he runs away and they're upset because he runs. And so I'm gonna watch this video before the last segment of this show. And I'm gonna give you guys my honest to God opinion about what I feel happened. Now, some of you may be asking at this point, who does this guy think he is? He's on television with this straight report. He's on YouTube. He's on Facebook. And now he's saying he's going to be on every Tuesday pulling away the curtain, just like Dorothy did when Toto ran behind the curtain on The Wizard of Oz. As we go to break, I want you to think about this love letter. If you have your phone, go ahead and screenshot it, because these are the topics that we'll be covering over the next few weeks. We will have some people that will call in as well as be special guests. You're tapped and tuned in to The Straight Report, no chaser. All right, man, I'm feeling some type of way because now I have to go into a subject that I've been hearing and I actually experienced since I've been here in the city of Jackson. And I think that this is one of the reasons why I was brought to Jackson. So I may share with all of those that will watch this show, that again, there is a system set in place for us to fail. Years ago, I saw a cartoon of a white face, black face with the big white lips. And it's two guys. And one of them looking at the other one and they said, "I found the enemy." And the other person responds and he says, "Who is it?" And the first guy that said, "I found the enemy," says, "It's us." Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I submit to you tonight that there is an organization that are considered gatekeepers, and they're known as the Boule. Not the AKA Boule, not Sister Boule on social media, but the Boule is a system that is set in place, a bunch of gatekeepers, people that look like us, talk like us, they're well off, and you would think that they should be role models, but they are put in position to be somewhat like the house Negro. I'm not a black-white person. I said it earlier, we're not crayon colors, but ironically, there's these colors that they play around with: black, white, Caucasian, African American. They've changed the descriptive of us throughout the years so much to keep us confused. They've hidden our history. Again, I'm not pro-black. I'm not Black Lives Matter. We're not gonna march, and we definitely ain't gonna sell no chicken and fish plates just to get by. We will sell some chicken and fish plates because we can make some money and it's a lucrative business, but we're not gonna sell any trying to get the dots connected concerning this. This Boule exists, and I want you to Google it. If anyone can Google it right now on their phone, it is, I believe, Phi Beta. I'm going to tell you exactly what it is. It is an organization that is set up of elite men and women that are designed to keep us from prospering as a unit, as a people. It's certain things that they agree to, it's certain things that they block, it's certain people that are put in position, and they are given, of course, resources, they're given money, they're given, and some of you may say, sounds like the Illuminati. No, they're not the Illuminati, but they partner with the Illuminati. Now, some of you may want to jump off now because you heard these things and you think these things don't exist. The Illuminati is simply a group that say that they have the light, they have the revelation, they have the knowledge. And it's a generational thing that is passed down, just like someone that has a piece of land or a company, and that company thrives in that land. A suggestion, or I guess I say an example, would be Stamp Burger. Al Stampburger, over by Jackson State. They were here when I was here. And I swung by there the other day to try to get one of those delicious burgers, and they closed at 4 o'clock. And I said, wow, the house has been restored. The house has been actually, it looks a whole lot better than what it used to look. It may even be a whole nother house. I used to walk there, never drove there before the other day. And so sometimes, you know, your bearings can get turned around, but that's a company business that someone has came along now and they made it better. And they're making money through that business now for years, for generations. And so that's the same way that this knowledge is passed down on how to manipulate this system and keep the poor poor and the rich rich. It's not about black, white, ladies and gentlemen. I will say this until I'm blue in the face. It's not about black and white. It's about caste systems. It's about things that are put in position to make you think that something's wrong with you when absolutely something is right with you. Jackson, Mississippi has a 1, and Mississippi Delta has a 1. Has a what? The chapters are known as Boule, Sigma Bi Phi fraternity. Charles Campbell. Somebody says bean pie, my brother. Martin Perkins. I think that's a joke. Jackson, Mississippi has the 1. Please elaborate. Jackson, Mississippi has 1, and Mississippi Delta has 1 what? Do they have chapters? The chapters are known. All the chapters are known as Boule. And see, I'm not crazy. I'm just a man that lived a good life. I share it with my wife. I share it with my kids, that whatever comes my way from sharing this information, I'm going to share it. I'm not afraid of what man can do to me, but what I am afraid of is leaving this earth with this knowledge and with this vital information that can help us get in position to do what we should do in this earth. You know, there are some things that we have to really, really focus on moving into 2023. 2023 is a pivotal year. It's a very pivotal year. So what I want to do, I want to watch this video. I think I have about, I got about 6 minutes left, and this video has about 4 minutes. So I'm gonna turn this video on now, and I'm gonna watch this video for the very first time. And I want you guys to know that I really appreciate you tapping and tuning in to this first show. We just wanted to break the ice tonight. And I wanted to share that if you look at the pipeline to prison, public schools, big pharma, and the gatekeepers of the Boule, it's going to lead directly into the historically black college and university, HBCUs, and those will be the topics that we'll be looking at next week, along as touching on the Ed Reed situation and the Deion Sanders situation, okay? So let's listen to this video. Ladies and gentlemen, I apologize again for the graphic nature of it, but let's see what's going on with this video, and I will get my comments after.
The scene of a crime. When you watch a lot of this kind of video, you'll note that it is silent until it switches on at the moment when they are actually communicating with somebody that they're following or something is actually happening. So their body cam audio isn't always on. So this is not abnormal that it's silent right now.
Damn, I didn't do anything. Hey, I didn't hurt you. Ass ground. All right. You don't do that, okay? Get on the fucking ground. Get on the ground. Raise your ass. I'm on the ground. Lay down. Tap down. Please take on the ground. Take you. Get on the ground. One.
Okay, I'm gonna pause this right now. I'm gonna pause this because what's happening right now is that the young man, they telling him to get on the ground, and in his mind, okay, I'm gonna pause this right now. Hold on 1 second. I'm gonna pause this because what's happening, he's on the ground. And in his mind, he's on the ground. They want him to lay fully flat. And they're not saying lay down flat on the ground, get on your stomach. And so I can see right now, you have to understand, this has happened to me more than once. This happened to me about 3 or 4 years ago, and my wife and I were very baffled. I spent a night in jail and everything, and I was pulled over because they couldn't read my tag and for a traffic violation. And I was treated like a piece of crap, a piece of gum under someone's shoe. And these guys came up with the same type of energy that's happening on this video. Luckily, I have a license to carry, so he had already taken my firearm and he had me handcuffed. And similar to this, what's happening right now, happened to me as a grown man. As a 50-some-year-old man, this happened to me. And so I'm really dealing with some emotions right now. So let's finish watching this. Right now is that the young man.
Okay, dude, damn. Turn the fuck around. Put your fucking hands on my back. Bitch, put your hands behind your back so quick. Okay, knock your ass the fuck out. You guys are really doing a lot right now. Bro, lay down. I'm just trying to go home. Man, if you don't lay down. Well, I am on the ground. Put your hands behind your stomach. I got you. Swear. Stop. I'm not doing it.
Tasing him. He's running. I didn't want to show this video on the show, so I'm watching it for the first time in front of you guys. They're chasing him now.
2938. We're at Rains at Ross. Tasers deployed. Suspect is running.
We have about a minute to the show ending. Okay. We have about a minute left of this video, and I already know what's going to happen. They're going to get this guy, and they're very upset already. And so now it turns into them covering their tracks. And as I said, we've heard that there may be an ex involved in this. My take on this tonight on the Straight Report is that the force is more than excessive. The language is beyond unbearable. And this is you not even telling a young man why you pulling them over. Do you realize that in this day and time, someone running to your car, opening your door and asking you to get out, you're automatically paranoid. And what I want to talk about when we come back next week is the societal PTSD that we have from seeing these images on social media and mainstream news. These are the main things that we see, but not on the Straight Report. You're tapped and tuned in. CW-TV on YouTube, Cwu-Tv Network on Facebook. Salute.